Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Cedary. This is episode 546. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
KC. How are we, pal?
I'm pretty upset with myself. It's June 18th, and I've yet to be to a Major League Baseball game this year. June 18th. And the only game that I've been to is a Nashville Sounds game.
I'm right there with you.
For which I think I caught like 7 of the 9 innings.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. To be fair,
you have been to a big league game.
Have I? Have I gone to this year? I haven't gone this year.
Yeah, you went to Denver.
Oh, that's right. I was in.
Yeah.
I was in Coors.
Yeah.
I was I don't know why I was picturing like, I haven't been to Chase this year. I haven't been to Chase this year, but I totally forgot. That's right. You suck. I don't.
You suck. Thank you.
Yeah.
Holy
and you have like
cow.
way easier access to a lot of places.
Dude, it's like right down the road.
Yeah.
Well, getting into DC is no easy task, but what's that? How's that phrase go? By the way of the crow, by the way the bird,
the crow flies.
The way the crow flies. Yeah. It's a short drive. And I think
it's the way a crow flies.
By the way, the pigeon.
No other birds, just crow.
By the way, the pigeon rolls. I don't know.
That's a spy. Pigeons are spies. We know this.
That's very true. No, but I go back to my resolution, my New Year's resolution. I said I was going to go to more baseball games this year than I ever had in a single year.
You're off to a rough start.
That's a great start. What a joke. Man,
Yeah,
I suck. Yeah, you know what else sucks?
Adulting?
Yeah, frozen pizza. Nah, frozen pizza is okay.
Frozen pizza's legit.
In the right context. No, what sucks is the continued fallout of this Rafael Devers situation. I didn't anticipate it being wrapped up anytime soon. Like, I didn't think it was going to be like, oh, he's traded. He's in San Francisco now. That's all that there is to the story. But to be fair, the last time we recorded, it happened like an hour before we talked about it. So we didn't have really a chance for things to really pan out, for there to be any fallout, any sort of blowback. But boy, has there been some. Before I get into my thoughts, do you have any initial reactions to sort of what you've heard, what you've seen, what you've read?
Yeah, I heard something about. I didn't get to dig into it, so I'm hoping you can shed some light. And I don't know if this is where you want to start, but like I heard something about. Does John Henry own a soccer team as well?
Liverpool.
Oh.
And they
not a small football club. That's a big football club.
And they just made a record size acquisition. I don't know. Don't ask me about soccer. Don't ask me about Liverpool. All I know is it required a pretty penny from Fenway Sports Group, and coincidentally just happened the same week that this whole thing with Rafael Devers went at, where we're trying to maybe clear up some money.
Is this tinfoil hat worthy, or is it just like everyone knows this? It's kind of out in the...
It's floating around out there for sure. But it's a matter of if John Henry has bigger fish to fry, if this is just a fan conspiracy, or if there's any truth to it. It's hard to say.
Money is money. It goes in different directions.
Money.
It goes in different directions. So that's something I was just curious about. I just saw it. I wasn't sure if that was a real thing or not. Hey, Laura. I would say that was interesting. I would say last night, Rafi Devers roping a ball in the gap for an RBI double was interesting. In the City Connects, interesting. What do you think of 16, by the way? The number 16. You have nothing. You have no feel for it.
I was unaware that. I mean, maybe it's because I'm just not a Giants diehard. I was unaware that 11 was unavailable for the Giants.
Who's rocking that? What I didn't look into that either.
Nope, not Phil Simms. We're talking San Francisco Giants. Is it Mel Ott? No, Mel Ott was 4. Carl Hubble.
Sure.
You know him, you love him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it works, whatever. I mean, Giants got not have bad uniforms. To me, though, the big talking points here are the comments that were made from both sides. This comment that I think made the most noise from Rafi Devers in his opening press conference. He said, "I'm here to play wherever they want me to play."
Yeah, that's a little interesting.
To which Bob Melvin followed up saying that Rafael Devers would be, I think I read that he was not entertaining the possibility of him playing third at any point, especially with whenever Chapman comes back. But Bob Melvin said that Devers would play a little bit of DH and a little bit at first base. And I bet you he's going to play first base at some point this weekend against the Red Sox, because he said it himself. He said, "I'm going to take as many ground balls as I can in the next couple of days."
Yeah, just to be spiteful, I think that's the route you go. If you're feeling that way,
But this is going back to sort of what we talked about last episode. This is a situation in which adults chose not to be adults. And, we can sit here and look at how, okay, well, if some of these things that have come to light in the days since the trade are true, and maybe this just truly was a situation where they needed to clear the air and really clear his locker ultimately. Okay. But my goodness, man, I've said it before, I'll say it again. He's one of the best hitters in baseball. Like, is there not just a way that this isn't just Joe Blow on your 40 man? Like, this is Rafael Devers. And I'm looking at him too. Like, can we not come to a resolution here and just make this work? Like, I meant to tell you, this evening, I finally, granted, I'm like half a year late at this point, I started the Red Sox documentary, the one that Netflix did. And I'm like a couple episodes in, and I'm just sitting here watching Rafi like interact with some of the guys, and I'm like, because we let some sour grapes from the front office get in the way, like we no longer have this kind of thing. I don't know, like. And then it comes to light that Rafael Devers was willing to play first base for the Red Sox, but he wanted them to commit to him as their first baseman for the long haul and not just as a short-term measure. This whole thing is a mess, dude. And I don't know what camp to really set up shop in.
That's kind of what I'm sensing. I'm sensing that from you and a lot of Red Sox fans, is that like you don't know, like you're obviously not thrilled with the club, but you're not willing to just like fully support and defend Rafi Devers, which is fair because like not much of what he's done is worth defending. But now you have like David Ortiz chipping in. Now you have Pedro chipping in, which is like making things a lot worse. The other thing is that I'm hearing he wasn't even really thoroughly shopped. Like I heard that he didn't wasn't. Really like the Red Sox didn't look to too many places here. Like this was something that who knows if it was one of the first calls that they received or they made, and just pulled trigger just to get it done, which also seems super irresponsible on that end, because I do feel like they got fleeced, and I do feel like there were probably teams willing to offer more.
Yeah. Craig Breslow said that the math, this came from his mouth. He said the math said that this was a good deal. This was the right time to do it. The math. What does that even mean? Like, I'm sitting here being told by Craig Breslow that, like, yeah, I'm a former player. Like, I think like a baseball player. That's how this series like opens up. He's given his introductory talk to the club down at spring training, and he's like, yeah, I still think like I was a player longer than I've been in the front office, and that's going to be the case for at least another 10 years. Mm-hmm. Well, buddy, you're not going to be here in 10 years. First of all, sorry. No. But tell me that it's the math that led you to this decision. Like, have some feel. And we don't need to rehash the timing of it all, but it's again, going back to the not knowing which camp to be in. It's difficult for me because, I love Rafi. I still don't really have a favorite player on this team. I didn't not like Rafi. He rubbed me the wrong way sometimes, especially with all this drama since spring training.
It's a tough place to be, by the way, not having a favorite player on your favorite team. Yeah, it's not a comfortable place.
I think Duran has sort of slotted into that role. Him or Story. I just like the way they go about it. But no, the thing I was going to say though is, on the flip side, I do respect. I know I've taken my shots at Craig Breslow. However, if there were issues caused by Rafael Devers that would have prevented this team from moving forward and being a singular unit moving forward, I understand. And I know you're saying, well, like, figure out a way. In one breath, you're saying, we'll figure out a way to fix it, and then the other side, get rid of it. It's not what I'm saying. We won't truly fully know the entire story. All I'm saying is, if Rafael Devers had a role to own in this, okay, you know what? It sucks, but we're going to have to move on. However, like I said, the Red Sox do have a history of kicking you on the way out the door when they do show you the door. So again, I'm sort of in the middle here. I don't really know which way to go with it, but at the end of the day, he's gone. As if you're the Red Sox, you kind of have to move on. It seems like Alex Cora has gotten to a point with responding to inquiries about this whole deal that he's just taking it at face value. Like, it is what it is. Well, almost in a cold way.
I wanted to ask you about that too, because like, how much are we? Can we put some blame in Cora's camp for kind of losing control of this situation a little bit? Like, I know it's not fully on him. Like, Rafi's a grown man, but I
don't think he knew that this was happening.
This is a mess, bro.
Genuinely don't think he knew this was happening, because if you're Alex Cora and you catch even the slightest wind that your best hitter is being shipped across the country, you don't think that you're gonna make a little bit of a noise, or you're at least gonna make an effort to bring it to a halt. But if John Henry, who has the ultimate say when it comes to money in these contracts, if he says, no, I want to lighten my checkbook and make my pockets a little heavier, then this is what has to be done, Craig. So go ahead and take care of business. So Craig's left with no other option but then to, as the great philosopher Lil Wayne said, move in silence like lasagna. So that's where we're at. And so I don't think Alex Cora had any true knowledge of what was really happening here. I don't know.
Yikes, pal. I don't I don't want to beat a dead horse here because obviously it's like, what's the point of talking about something that's, ties have already been cut, but like,
no, it's just the aftermath of it where this is classic. It's not even just baseball; it's a sports thing. Like you're going to have the fallout where both sides are
I
trying
think
to
that's
craft
fine.
a narrative. You're trying to do damage control, and some of the things that are coming out about Rafael Devers in that damning Yahoo Sports article that were, I mean, just on both sides. There was just acknowledging the fact that the Red Sox are organizationally are a mess right now.
Which, do you agree?
For sure.
Okay.
The power struggle is how you would describe it with Alex Cora, Craig Breslow, John Henry. Like nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody knows who wants what at the end of the day. But then you find out that, or it was reported rather, that Devers was upset when Christian Campbell volunteered to play first base.
I saw that, which is,
dude, I don't know. All I know is at the end of the day, I go back to what I said at some point last episode, and that I'm it's going to be laundry over player every time. And
yeah, unfortunately, it's how our sicko brains operate. Before we move on, you sent me a little snippet of an article referring to something that you and I talk about regularly on this podcast, which is a lack of fundamentals being taught in the lower system. I'm not just pointing at the Red Sox and saying this, but like you can speak to that a little bit, right? Like you've seen it a little bit. They're struggling defensively this year. Like that's kind of a thing.
They're the worst defensive team in baseball.
I think it's just a really, really perfect, unfortunate cocktail of a lot of things mixing up. And I'm not going to say I'm fully out because like a lot of people had this team winning the division this year. And they're in a playoff spot currently. But I genuinely can't imagine with all of these things happening. I can't imagine a successful year this year.
My only hope as a fan of this team is that, and if you're a fan of any team, you hope for this whenever there's conflict, whenever an issue arises internally, externally, whatever it may be. You just hope that the team is capable of rallying together and in this case, ignoring the front office, be like, you don't really have our best intentions in mind. Like you're here protecting each other's interests. You're here
brings up another point, man.
Trying to protect each other's checkbooks, protect each other's jobs.
How likely are some of these guys to be willing to sign an extension? Like if that's what you're seeing, like no, you're not going to be an idiot. If I'm in the position of Roman Anthony, I'm not going to be an idiot and say like, oh, I'm going to turn down money. But like, if I'm looking at a situation and saying, okay, realistically, am I on the trajectory of a Mookie Betts or a Rafi Devers or a Xander Bogaerts? Because like, if I'm of that caliber and I'm succeeding and I'm hearing all the things I want to hear, like at some point there's going to be something in the back of my mind that's like, well, if it happened to those guys, it could happen to me too. It's interesting, man. And I'm just wondering like how long that stench of mismanagement sticks around. And money talks, I'm not going to sit here and say that no one's going to be willing to sign an extension there because of those examples. But like, you're also not just having this conversation alone with these organizations. Agencies know this. Agencies have seen this. The proof is in the pudding of how guys have been treated in the past. And that conversation, you better believe, if that agent knows what he's doing, is going to be brought up. I think it's weird. I think it's a very strange scenario going on. And I think there's a very large ripple effect from this. And overall, like my stance is shame on the Red Sox front office, shame on Craig Breslow. And if it did in fact come to an emotional dispute, which let's be honest, that's what it was. It's feelings getting hurt. If that's what it comes down to and you move a cornerstone piece prematurely without fully vetting other options and maximizing the return, full shame on you. You know the saying, Kyle. Don't fart in my face and tell me it smells good, baby. You can't.
Been a whole lot of that the last 4 years.
That's right. You've been farted in the face a lot. Just lied to.
Speaking of lies, Nate, is it a lie that the Dodgers and Padres have the best rivalry in baseball right now?
Not a lie.
Because I was told that it was. In fact, I was told that it's not even a rivalry at all. Which
we were told that
me,
the Giants are the one that.
Correct. No, sure, Max Muncy and others, I'm sure, but I'm talking about people in the mentions telling me that it is, in fact, not even a rivalry at all. Forget like second tier or even top tier rivalry. It's not a rivalry at all. Which to me, if I know how the average fan operates, that tells me that it is a rivalry and that there's some insecurities there, because if you were so bothered by this team, you wouldn't be trying to get out in front of this narrative saying, oh, it's not a rivalry at all. We're not bothered at all by them. Classic rent-free mindset.
Yeah, I concur. Rookie sounds upset.
He's pissed about.
We heard about the Devers. So yeah.
I told him, I'm like, buddy, this is really the last day we can really dwell on this. But here we are.
Yeah, it's fair. It's understandable. I don't know, man. I mean, look, it's must-watch TV every time they match up. And I know, Shohei, first time on the bump, it was only for an inning, and it didn't look great. Didn't look awful, but didn't look great. But that matchup with Cease, like, ignore the box score, ignore the result. Like, overall, everyone wanted to tune into that game if you could. Like, that's a game that you want to watch. And it's fireworks every time they play. And it doesn't have to be solely driven on I don't think it needs to be solely about regular season games, but like if they're matching up in postseason matchups the way, and especially like last year, that was electric. It's been electric. I can't imagine a better matchup right now. And like you and I talked about, like maybe the Sox and Yanks are like starting to come back, but it's goes dormant for a while. If one of those teams has a rough stretch, which they're both currently in a little bit of a rough stretch, it's not super exciting. And you have attitude on the Padres you don't necessarily have in that other match. Like, what are they saying? Are they still saying Red Sox Yankees? Are they like, what other rivalry is close?
No, I think it's Dodgers fans jumping out and in front of this saying it's still the Giants. And I'm just like, first of all, like, I'm
no
just
disrespect.
trying to, well, no disrespect, but I'm just trying to make sense of like why you're so adamant on saying that on making this Giants Dodgers thing a rivalry, when in reality, 9 out of 10 non-Dodger, we'll just call it non-NL West baseball fans can look at this from an outside point of view. Granted, we're not in the thick of it like you guys are, but we can watch a baseball game uninvested and be like, oh yeah, hands down, these two teams hate each other right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's not the case with the Dodgers and Giants, but like as we've talked about with the Red Sox and Yankees, rivalries can ebb and flow. And right now, the post I put out today, I said, currently, is this the best rivalry in baseball? Which I believe it is. But I had people tell me it was Dodgers and Giants. I said, you had people playing for the Dodgers last October say that was the toughest matchup that they had.
Here's my order. I would put Dodgers Padres 1. I'd probably put I'd put like the NL East over Dodgers Giants.
That's what
you know what I'm saying? Like I'd
saying.
put like Phillies Braves or like Phillies Mets or Braves Mets or one of those matchups over Dodgers Giants.
Bro, I had somebody. Hold on.
Let's not get too much of the recency bias because let's be real. The Giants haven't really been relevant until this year.
I had somebody in the comments say that Rangers Seattle is a close second. I'm like, I don't know.
What planet are we on?
I don't know, man. I truly have no idea. Anyway, yeah, the hit by pitch, it was, well, you had Andy Pages believe that he was intentionally hit Monday, and then you had Mike Shellett coming out and saying, like, who do you think you are? And then Manny Machado had the comment about we wouldn't hit him. They've got other big dogs to hit. And then Andy Pages comes out I think it was the next night, last night, has 2 bombs. But what was interesting though, or not even interesting, it was just funny, was the Ohtani hit by pitch. Bro, like you can just tell the fans are losing it.
Yeah.
In the stands, and meanwhile, you've got Shohei down at first, just laughing up a storm.
Yeah,
talking it up with Luis Ariz, and I'm like, this guy is so above. Just
he is
a rivalry, bad blood. He doesn't care. He's just like, man, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, it's as I want to dislike him. I'd like to dislike him.
No, you don't. Why would you want to? No, why would you want to dislike him?
Because everyone's on his jock. And that annoys me. And then I
That's
look at him and
fault.
I watch him play and I'm just like, dang it.
That's not his
just
fault.
So likable. Whatever.
What did you
I lean Padres, by the way, anytime I watch those matchups. I always have. I did both. And anyone that wants to say, oh, it's because of the World Series last year. No, it was before that.
Hey, you said it. I mean, I don't know.
That.
I don't know.
I've leaned Padres in that matchup for a while now.
You took that stance pretty hard. Has anybody actually said this, or are you just showing your true colors here? Like, are you actually a little upset with the way last year went?
Yes, but that has nothing to do with this. Has it?
Kind of sounds like it.
Has it caused it to grow? Sure. Has the reasoning gone up since then? Sure.
I mean, let's be honest. Everybody loves a good underdog story, and in this matchup, they are, as you know what? I'll give Dodgers fans credit. Always talking about how the Padres are the little brother. They are the little brother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think well, maybe outside of Padres fans, nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying that the Padres are the little brother.
Yeah.
Dodgers obviously have the track record.
Yeah.
But to say that this is not the best rivalry in baseball going right now is insane.
Yeah.
Crazy. Let's talk about the hey, no, you know what? Is
it time?
This deserves let's see. What do I want to hit it with? Let's just go classic.
Oh, we're not allowed to play that anymore. Sorry, Murray.
Shout out the New York Yankees for
scraping across a couple runs,
for scoring a run.
Yeah.
I'm not talking a couple, just a run. That's all we, as baseball fans, we're like, come on, just one.
Just
how
need it.
How about tonight? No. Okay. Well, how about tomorrow night? No. How about the next night?
No.
30. What was it? Final tally 31 and a third innings scoreless. Nate, what's going on, man? They were shut out 3 straight nights. I would say no. I'll be nice. 3 straight shutouts. the first time they had been shut out 3 straight games since 2016. Where are we at with the game tonight? They're currently riding a 5-game losing streak. They're down 1 in the bottom of the 8th. Ooh, so this will be fun. We get to catch the end of this.
And to explain to you how things are going right now, it's 1st and 2nd, no outs. Trent Grisham up. Squares around a bunt. Foul. Ends up being in a 2-1 count. Decides to swing away and pops it up to the catcher. So that's where this team is at the moment. And I feel like all the things that were supposed to be solved have started to rear its ugly head again. We saw miserable base running examples in the Red Sox series. Seen it again. We're trying to avoid a sweep of the Los Angeles Angels. That's where we're at the moment. It's crazy. I don't know. No one that Boone is just like, oh, it just happens. No.
Coming into today, the offense during the span of those 29 innings, coming into today, they were slashing 170, 229, and 210. They had just 17 hits. They had struck out 32 times to a measly 8 walks.
5 runs in 6 games.
5 runs in 6 games. I think the Red Sox broke the Yankees.
I think so too.
Like the Red Sox broke themselves,
right?
But also broke the Yankees.
Right. Well, that's the thing about, like, I'll credit the Red Sox. They play the Yankees so well because they scout them so well. Like they know that, like, we can steal bases against you. We can take extra bases against you. And we can force the issue on you defensively, and it's typically going to make you look bad. And I was kind of like shook with how they just went right at Judge and like didn't care. Then it was like, we're just going to come right at him. And it worked. And I think he was shocked. I think everyone was shocked. He pressed. Anthony Volpe, I'm done with Anthony Volpe. I'm out. I'm fully out. I don't care what he does the rest of the year. I'm out. I'm done. It's miserable to watch. He sucks at short. He's always sucked at short. And the Gold Glove is a fluke. He's miserable with routine ground balls. I'm out.
Do I have your permission to clip that just as a standalone?
Save it. I'm out. I'm ready for our guy, George Lombard, to come up, who looks like an actual shortstop and doesn't put his knee down when he gets regular ground balls hit to him.
Judge 0 for 4 on the night. You hate to see it.
Yeah,
Long term though, looking at the entirety of the American League, how do you describe the Yankees' chances? We'll just call it. How do you think they would do in the postseason right now? In the at least through the lens of the American League, because we know what the Tigers are doing. They're as real as it gets, I think, right now. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, even the people like me and possibly you that had the Royals. No, you didn't have the Royals. Did you have the Tigers? Guardians. Even people like us that didn't have the Tigers coming out of the division. I still think we can't be surprised. Maybe we underestimated them, sure, but I don't think we can be surprised at what they're doing. How do you think the Yankees stack up?
9.5 game lead.
That's what I'm saying. How do you think the Yankees stack up in this mix? Because I think at the start of the season, the conversation was like, okay, the Tigers, the Yankees, the Rangers, the Red Sox were another team sort of pegged to come out of the mix, or out of the dust, if you will, when it was all said and done.
I mean,
how complete or incomplete do you think the Yankees are right now? Because the Tigers right now, going back to the Tigers, they're doing it on both sides of the ball. Like I think they're top 5 in team ERA. They're top 5 in team OPS, doing it on both sides of the ball. But with the Yankees specifically, how do you think they stack up?
I don't think they're better than the Tigers.
I think could they go on a run?
Yeah,
as currently constructed.
Yeah, I think so. But like that, when fully healthy, like Luke Weaver's back, closer role is like shored up kind of thing. Stanton now back, like that conversation. Yeah, I think they could go on a run. I don't think they're bad. I do still think they're a more complete team than they were last year. And we saw that team go on a run. Whether they deserve to be in that position or not is a different conversation. It depends on a deadline, man. And I don't want to put it all on that, but like the Tigers need a little rotational help. And I do think that is up for grabs at the deadline. I don't see a ton of other things they need. I think it's just rotation depth to be able to get through the postseason. That's kind of how I look at the Tigers. Outside of that, you're good. The Yankees need rotational depth. They need a second or third baseman. They need right-handed pop. They need at least one arm in the bullpen, if not two. So like that's a lot of deadline stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if they can plug every hole. So I think they're fine. Obviously, this stretch sucks, and every team has it at some point. It's giving me vibes that it's given the past few years, where like the lows are very, very low, and the Tigers don't seem that way. And I would even argue that Houston doesn't even really fully seem that way. Who, by the way, the Mariners have just absolutely coughed it up again, and we're not really talking about that enough. Just fully handed that over. What is the AL? What is it?
It's a mess.
It's gross.
You know what else is a mess, Nate? Is this Credit Cannon situation? I think it's time we address it. Last episode, I was intending to release a statement because it was brought to my attention that maybe there was some illegitimacy regarding the ballistics, the weaponry being used in said Credit Cannon.
Yeah, you can hear the hammer being drawn back on a
right. To which my response in the DMs was that I picked the first result when I typed in cannon sound and didn't think twice about it.
Sure.
And I've had multiple people bring this to my attention that it is not in fact a cannon. So I have prepared a statement for which I will read to you and to the public.
Vis-a-vis.
Here's my statement. It has come to my attention that the sound effect used during the Credit Cannon segment may not, in fact, be an actual cannon. Some have suggested... Excuse me, sir, in the gallery, silence, please. We're going to start over. It has come to my attention that the sound effect used during the Credit Cannon segment may not, in fact, be an actual cannon. Some have suggested, with what I can only describe as unnerving confidence, that the audio more closely resembles a bolt-action rifle. While I am not a licensed ballistics expert, nor particularly well-versed in 18th century artillery acoustics, I do acknowledge the possibility that the current sound lacks the explosive grandeur traditionally associated with cannon fire.
Grandeur.
I am actively monitoring this situation. Should enough listeners and or viewers voice their concern organically, publicly, and in a manner that suggests this actually matters, I may consider transitioning to a more sonically appropriate blast in a future episode, perhaps even as soon as next week. Until then, the credit cannon remains in active service, technical classification pending. There will be no questions. Are there any questions?
How much of ChatGPT wrote that for you?
There will be no questions.
Yeah.
It offends me that was your first comment to everything that I just read off.
Yeah. So we're just gonna ride it out, is what you're saying. Until then.
I mean, I've had people. I mean, we've talked about it. People are complaining about the sound being too loud, the weapon being used in the sound. Like I just said, the people are talking about how they've almost died driving off the road, how it wakes their spouse up. Look, I don't know what you want me to do. Do you just want me to disband the segment altogether?
Yeah, I need you to be better.
Do you just want us to get rid of the credit cannon altogether? Because I can do that.
You need a whole week to find a new sound?
Well, we do these, which is something else that I think it took people way too long to pick up on. We only do these on like the Wednesday, the weekday episode, not the weekend, not the first of the week episode.
Yeah.
So it would have to wait till next week. If my math serves me correct, assuming that I'm not changing it tonight.
So just to clarify, you wrote that statement, not ChatGPT, and instead of using that time to find a new canon sound, you wrote that, not ChatGPT.
No, because I like the sound, and I'm gonna need enough. I'm gonna need enough of an uproar from these people to actually justify a change in the sound. Otherwise, they can just deal with the bolt action rifle credit cannon. Okay?
You were gonna say something else. You say stick what?
Whatever. That's my statement. There will be no questions. Are there any questions? No. It's time for the credit cannon. Ellie De La Cruz, over the last 7 days coming into today, hitting 429 with 9 hits, 4 homers, 7 RBIs, and an OPS of 1548 in 5 games over, again, the last 7 days.
Murray's getting fired.
Murray needs headphones. Coming into today, or as of the 16th, Ellie De La Cruz, this is credit to Reds Muse on Twitter, leads all of NL shortstops, minimum of 30 games, in homers, RBIs, runs, games, total bases, extra base hits, stolen bases, slugging, and OPS.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. It's good credit cannon. It's worthy. The Reds, on the other hand, not so much.
No. And by the way, you had thrown out and this is another point to the credit cannon. I think people are just questioning my integrity with this segment. They think I just like throw anybody in there if they bring it up. No, like there's a vetting process that takes place. I don't just, if you just hit me up like, hey, I think this guy belongs in there, I'm just not going to automatically put him in. You had mentioned Jeremy Pena. Nate, there was a list longer than probably 50 worthy names ahead of Jeremy Pena, unfortunately. So I'm not entirely sure what stretch. Are you looking at like the previous week? Are you looking at the previous month? Because there was a handful of other deserving names that unfortunately didn't make the cut tonight.
You don't need to out me like that.
Well, you're throwing out wild accusations about ChatGPT and my statement.
Are my accusations correct?
Well, we're just trying to keep it transparent here. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention and let you know that I did entertain. I considered it was brought into consideration.
I was just bringing up Jeremy Pena because he has the third best WAR in baseball, so I figured that might have
that can't be true. What are you looking at?
He's just behind Pete Crow, Armstrong, and Judge, and above Paul Skeens.
Hold the phones. What are we talking about?
So
hold on.
That's what I was looking at.
What?
Yeah.
Jeremy,
I feel like you owe me an apology.
That's you know what?
Is that your apology?
Jeremy Pena. Go, with the last minute addition to the credit cannon segment today, purely for his shocking third place position on the war leaders chart.
Yeah.
Good
how's it feel?
Good for Jeremy Pena. It doesn't feel good.
Good.
Doesn't feel good.
That's what I want to hear.
Next up, Trey Turner. Over the last week, coming into today, hitting .417 with 2 homers, 4 ribbies, and an OPS of 1231. Trey Turner, National League ranks among shortstops coming into today. First in hits, first in average, first in on base, second in OPS, tied for second in doubles, tied for first in triples, and second in swipes and second in runs scored.
Nice.
Trey Turner.
Nice.
By the way, that's a guy for some reason that I think I've seen more commentary, more dialogue back and forth on whether or not his contract is the worst in the history of baseball or if he's worth every penny, because I've seen strong arguments for both. And I think Phillies fans are just fickle when it comes to Trey Turner because I think the narrative switches every day. But I'm a Trey Turner truther and will always be a Trey Turner truther.
Yeah, I like Trey Turner. I like him in Philly. I like the fit. I've always liked the fit. I like him in a USA uniform as well.
Never forget.
So I don't get it. I mean, just be nice. If you are angry, I don't know. I just yelled at Anthony Volpe. So whatever. What do I know?
Hunter Goodman.
A Rocky?
Over the hey, you know what? This is a good moment to give Hunter Goodman his flowers, because while I still maintain that we need to do away with the every team needs to be represented thing, for strictly the purposes of what we've seen the last 2 years with the White Sox and Rockies, you do have a guy that's certainly worthy, although is not going to start the All-Star game, because I don't know if you've seen Will Smith. I think, let me check.
Will Smith is, yeah.
Bro, Will Smith has the second highest, as of yesterday, had the second highest margin over the second place player behind him at his position. Aaron Judge's margin yesterday was 893,000. Will Smith was 716,000.
Yeah, it's good. Solid.
A larger margin than Cal Raleigh, I might add.
Yeah.
Who's right behind him at 672.
I mean, one can argue Will Smith is better this year.
But Cal Raleigh, a larger margin than Cal Raleigh, that
Better
speaks
than
more
Cal
to
Raleigh?
that speaks more to the popularity contest that is all-star voting. I
That's fair.
digress.
Anthony Volpe just struck out to complete the back-to-back sweeps, by the way.
Yes. Hunter Goodman hitting over the last 2 weeks, hitting 333, 5 homers, 12 ribbies, and an OPS of 1123 coming into today. Hunter Goodman in the month of June coming into today leads baseball with 7 homers, 15 ribbies, and a 356 average. Credit to Hunter Goodman.
Cal Raleigh has 27 home runs.
I looked it up today. Him and Aaron Judge. Here's a little nugget for you. Him and Aaron Judge have more home runs combined than
all of one team.
The Royals franchise, the Royals lineup,
Whoa.
and the Pirates lineup.
Whoa.
Which, Pirates, whatever. But the Royals.
That's embarrassing.
Those 2 guys alone, more home runs than your entire team. Royals, we got to do better. Jack Caglione, we got to do better too, man. Like I know you just got here, but like
tough start.
Just a little something. Where are we at here on the Critic Cannon? Next up,
shots fired! Shots fired!
Ryan Pepio, 2-1 with an ERA of 1.62 with 37 strikeouts over his last 5 starts. His last start against the Orioles, he went 8 innings, allowed just 4 hits, gave up 1 earned run, 11 Ks to 2 walks. On the year, he's sporting a 3.11 with a whip of 110. 4-6 though, so not great there, but who cares?
Was he in the Glasnow trade?
He was. I'm glad you brought that up, Nate. I've got a tweet from Adam, the sports fan, that I wanted to reference. Since the trade for Tyler Glasnow, Manuel Margot, in exchange for Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca, Tyler Glasnow has a 3.61 in 152 innings. Ryan Pepio, a 3.40 in 219 innings.
This is what the Rays do, bro. They know. They know more than us. They know more than everyone.
The Rays are better than all of us. We owe our lives to the Rays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're hitting the road soon, aren't they? For like 8 weeks.
I think so. I think I read in the chat. They came. I mean, I've got the.
That's actually a good point. Not to interrupt you, but Ryan Pepio doing this for majority of games being in that tiny ballpark is crazy.
What?
Like the Rays being at Steinbrenner Field for
you're
majority
just
of this
saying this
performance.
year.
Yeah,
meant like since the trade.
This year, like having these numbers this year.
Sure.
All while doing it in that ballpark that's impressive, bro.
Sure.
So.
No, you're good. What I was saying is I think I saw it in the chat that with the O's up 8-0. The O's were up 8-0 and
currently coughed it up. Yeah.
The Rays, Orioles. I can't with this team anymore, man. I can't.
The worst.
You know who's not the worst? Jameson Tyone. 4-0 with an ERA of 2.08, 21 strikeouts over his last 4 starts, dating back to May 26th. Has allowed 4 or fewer hits in 6 straight starts. Granted, I didn't see. Did the game today? No. Yeah. Did the game today get postponed?
Yeah.
The Cubs game?
Yeah.
Confirmed. Yeah, he was supposed to start today, so everything still, all this still holds up. 4 fewer hits in 6 straight starts. On the year, he's pitching to a nice 3.48 with a whip of .98. He's racking up the strikeouts, granted at a somewhat of an alternating rate. Going back to May 14th. Granted, going back to May 14th, he's thrown 6 or more innings every time out, so that's encouraging. But his strikeout log, starting with that May 14th outing, he's gone in order to date 7-2, 7-2, 5-7. So from a fantasy perspective, maybe you just pick him up every other start. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
whatever
not a bad idea.
If you're looking for strikeouts. And now it's 8-12 in George Steinbrenner Field, at George Steinbrenner Field.
Worthless.
O's.
Worthless.
Closing the book here. Last thing I
We're
got.
doing butt bumps in the dugout right now.
Hey, that's just what the Rays do, baby. Butt bumps and dubs. Closing the book. Nick Castellanos benched the other day for, quote, an inappropriate comment.
Yeah, saw that. Ending a pretty lengthy streak.
Yeah, wasn't it like pushing 300 or I can't remember what the exact number was, but it was impressive. I mean, not Cal Ripken impressive, but for modern day standards.
Who is?
Modern day standards. Not bad. But you know what was funny? What's funny about that situation? Nick Castellanos makes an inappropriate comment. He gets a day off. If we were to make an inappropriate comment at our place of work, we would be sent to HR.
It's an excellent point. Probably written up.
Just wanted to throw that out there. Just in case.
Do we know the inappropriate comment, by the way?
No. Philly Rob said he just wanted to leave it at that.
Has Philly Rob lost the fan base, you think?
Well, if it's anything the way they treat Trey Turner, I think there's going to be a sort of an alternating narrative on a day-by-day basis where we love this guy. We'll go to the gates of hell for this guy.
Yeah,
they do. This guy should have been gone last year.
Off quite a bit until it's like postseason time. Like, we've been riding this guy all year. Like, you know what I mean?
That's being a baseball fan.
I've been in his camp all year. Yeah, it's fair.
I also saw, going back to the Cassie thing, I did see a theory proposed that with all of what's going on right now in the Middle East with Iran, that Philly Rob was actually looking out for America, and that he didn't want Cassie going deep and
good point.
Ultimately starting World War III.
Good point. Because whenever that day does come, he'll definitely go yeah. Keep an eye out for any Castellanos home runs. Like,
immediately check. I mean, that's the
check
norm.
In on your family.
That is the norm now. You immediately go to the news feed. You see like who passed away.
Yeah.
What world news has taken place. That's the norm. But to your point, now we got to be keeping an eye out for World War III. So Nick, just maybe hit a cold streak for a little while, huh? Buddy?
Exactly.
Thanks. That's all I got. You got anything before we get out of here?
Speaking of World War III, we just finished a new show called Paradise on Hulu. Phenomenal.
This man,
phenomenal. It's only one season.
Just blows through shows more than anybody I've ever seen.
It's like 8 episodes, guy.
How many?
8.
That's like 4 movies.
Yeah. Took a couple weeks.
Didn't you guys just finish that game show one that you recommended to me?
It was ages ago, bro. It was a different life ago.
That's fair.
Highly recommend. Paradise, legit. Like, intense. Real good. You're not a Hulu guy, are you?
We are.
Oh, very good. I recommend it. I do. It's not what you think. It just takes like an immediate twist at the end of the first episode, and you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. But it ends up being real good. You know what I'm saying? Real good. So there's that. There's that update. Still trying to lock down a PlayStation 2 for the trip. I was made aware that we could probably just put PlayStation 2 games in my PlayStation 4. But I don't really love that. I want more nostalgia.
Correct. Yeah. No, that can't happen.
I'm trying to find someone on OfferUp that's willing to trade, which
Bro,
seems like such a good deal. Like, hey, give me your PlayStation 2. I'll give you my PlayStation 4.
No. PlayStation 2, I would have to imagine, is in higher demand because PlayStation 4 is in this like weird in between. Like PlayStation 2's in the PlayStation world is like the GOAT. And so you're in this like weird in between of like PS5 and the GOAT. You're just like this middle child. You're like this like redheaded stepchild. Like, I don't know what to really do. But there's
people that like don't understand that value because they're on OfferUp and they're not smart. They have like, I found someone on OfferUp for like $80 for a PS2 Slim. And I'm like, that's exactly the size that I want to travel with. And I'm like, yo, how about I just give you this guy?
Whatever we have
resell that for 120.
Whatever we have to do to play MVP 05 in Atlanta at the All-Star game. Full World Series. I don't care how it gets done.
I think this is the only advantage that I'm going to be able to have, though. So you know that game so well, but I'm making you switch from Xbox to PlayStation. I think that like it's like a handicap for me. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I don't know. No.
I need a little handicap.
We're not baking in excuses already.
You are familiar with this game. I'm not familiar with this game. I've been an MLB show guy since
I also play MLB The Show.
07.
I also play MLB The Show.
No, but you haven't had access to MLB The Show. MLB The Show for a decade was like Xbox Who? You didn't know what that was like. You didn't live that life.
I have MLB The Show.
What year?
Whichever one has Harper and then Tatis on it.
Yikes, bro. That's like 2021.
Okay, so
I've been running that since 06. I had Ryan Howard and David Wright and Vladdy Guerrero.
All I'm saying is that I've done covers, both.
Dog.
I'm versatile. I'm agile. I can move. Xbox, play a little MVP 05, jump over here, play a little PlayStation, play the show. I can do both.
The equivalent of you running MVP 05 is the equivalent of you and I going out and golfing. That's what I think.
That's absolutely not.
Oh yeah, playtime. We should golf while we're out there too. That sounds fun. We should.
That is not the same at all.
Oh, 100%. The playtime, the amount of hours spent. Yeah. I'm giving you that big of an edge.
Are you capable of playing a baseball video game? I don't golf. That's not the same.
I think it is. I think it speaks to the experience. I wouldn't mind a handicap.
To answer the question in the chat, we're absolutely streaming. We're gonna do it up big. We're gonna do it right. You have my word. We're gonna stream. We're doing a full blown World Series. How we do teams has yet to be determined, but we can talk about that. But like it's gonna be big. We're going full blown World Series. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna map the schedule of the World Series out, given that we're only there for Saturdays nights.
I hope y'all are up for some late ones, by the way, because we could be streaming late.
That's true. We're there for 4 nights. So in theory, I could handle business 4 games to none, and we can just be on our merry way. But we may have to adjust. But yeah, we're gonna stream it. Don't know what teams we're gonna be at.
I think I'm also gonna pick up college football.
We're going to do it
a
right.
year of college football. I don't know what year.
Again, you keep talking about these other games. I don't know if we're going to have that much time.
I don't think you're fully aware of what it looks like when I'm not near my wife.
You
I may not
say
bathe
this,
the whole time we're there. Who knows?
you say this, but I've been around you. You are
I
going
am
to
a
be
sleepy Joe for
You're
sure.
going to be croaked at like 10.
Nah, man. Nah.
Anyway, we'll be streaming. We're looking forward to it. All the details of the trip are coming into focus.
We gotta get some voting in soon.
voting.
All-star voting.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that next episode. If nothing happens over the weekend, which,
Who knows?
who knows?
Maybe the Red Sox want to trade someone else.
Maybe Rafi Devers demands a trade so he can catch. Who knows? Hard to say. But if nothing happens, maybe next episode we put in our votes. We cast our ballots.
Okay. Cool.
That's all I got.
You gonna do some research on buttons, some canon sounds.
Yeah, last thing I'll say on that, I actually had this idea. I might I don't
What about
know.
those confetti cannons?
No, I was talking about possibly a shirt or a hat idea for the credit cannon. You know the come and take it flag?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like got a literal like cannon
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
I had a little inspiration with that. I was toying around with some ideas today.
I don't hate it.
Just throwing that out there. So
Yeah.
may come up with something for that. We'll see.
Cool.
Anyways, so I
I gotta
got
go shower. It's 112 today.
well,
Go
but
by
it's
Jason
dry
Curveballs.
heat. It's dry heat. We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.